We have a program here in the state of Kansas that's called RAPS. RAPS is an acronym for Watershed Restoration and Protection Strategies. It's how we implement Section 319 of the Clean Water Act here in Kansas. Through that program, we're really looking to try and improve water quality across the state, and particularly in some high priority watersheds. So in trying to improve water quality, we've really focused the last handful of years on improving soil health and using those principles of soil health to try to reduce the amount of tillage we see in our agricultural operations, trying to promote cover crops. And in fact, it was that cover crop component that really led us, I think, to look for some better solutions out on the market.
So why a 2212? Why a fortifier preceding cover crop on a Haggie? It's really all about performance. So we're going out there with 120-foot boom and running in the field with performances of like 80 pounds of cereal rye at 10 miles an hour, covering lots of acres per hour with this machine. We're able to also see rates as low as 4 pounds an acre at 10 miles an hour with something like turnips. So we got a really wide rate range at 10 miles an hour. That seems to be the sweet spot for a lot of guys.
Maybe 5-6 years ago, we decided we needed a little more protection. We get tired of our crops getting blown out, and sometimes when the residue is a little bit clean, we have some pretty harsh Marches and Aprils. And so we started with wheat, triticale, and really liked it. But the original reason we did it was to protect the surface from wind and water erosion. And then we rolled into year 2 and 3 and quickly discovered that there was way more benefit from what was happening below the surface. We found our CECs went up, our organic matter went up, we could hold more moisture because of this root mass, whether we had planted brown or green, it was still living. And if it wasn't living, it was decaying. And with all that said, our crops got better. And there was only one thing. I mean, we had Mother Nature working in our advantage, but we were irrigation too. We were growing better crops and healthier crops right out of the gate.
We have some issues with growing cover crops here in Kansas. Trying to get those cover crops planted after our row crops often put us late into the fall. And some problems associated with that were that we didn't get a lot of biomass growth on those cover crops in the fall. But maybe even a more challenging aspect was that producers are stretched time-wise and with logistics during harvest and directly after harvest, and so to ask those producers to then go hook up the tractor to the drill and plant those covers, it was a big ask. And so again, airplanes have been used with some success, and is a great solution in certain situations, but we also just didn't see the capacity necessarily with the airplanes to be able to cover the types of acreage that we needed to improve water quality. And so, in our research, I think that really led us, to your product and the fortifier solution, the Haggie Montag system that really helps us get in to those standing row crops, being able to go over the top of tasseled corn, hopefully somewhere around 6 weeks before harvest, get that cover crop planted, be able to get that down below some of those top leaves and get some good seed to soil contact, so that when harvest does happen, we've already got that cover crop up and growing, and when the sunlight can get to it, it can really take off.
Taking that like a Haggie rig and putting it over the top, it's going to be way more accurate.
I think the key advantage is the partnering between two reputable manufacturers coming together with an integrated solution. That gives the customer and the dealer confidence in the solution that both of us are going to stand behind and support it.
So another huge advantage that's often underestimated with people putting cover crop applicators on high clearance sprayers is just the integration. There's a lot of small details that go into it that maybe people don't think about. There's obviously the physical fit of the machine, and that's something people typically think about, but other things are hydraulic integration as well as electrical integration.
I think the amount of root mass you get by the time winter sets in is exponential from early seeding. Obviously the crop has to mature some too. You put the cover crop into green, completely green soybeans. Cover crop's not going to do nothing until sunlight can hit the cover crop. But I think getting it in timely, heard that saying, 1 day in September is worth 2 days in October and 3 days in November as far as getting something growing, just similar to planting wheat for us here, just 30 miles south of I-70, planting wheat in early October versus late October, you get so much more fall growth. So if we can get our coverage crops seeded in late August or September, we'll see great benefits from that. And every year's different with cover crops. No 2 years are alike, just like it is with growing corn, beans, or other cash crops. So last year we had some beans mature earlier because of the dry, hot summer, and they were starting to drop leaves in late August. And then we had all out moisture last fall. We really missed an opportunity to get a cover crop out there late August to have it growing all through the fall. We wasted a lot of water, not doing anything with it, and that field sat idle till we didn't plant corn there till June. So it was, if we'd have had the hay a year ago for that purpose, that'd have been great. So it's here for when that opportunity comes to us next time.
When we see very little to no erosion in this field currently, there's so much biomass on that soil surface with all of those living plant roots in the ground that really anchor that soil down. So very little soil movement, and that's a very good thing for water quality.
Yeah, this is a nice field. It's a good field, but it has some slope to it as well.
Yeah, it absolutely does. It is up and down, and the rows actually run up and down the slope in some places. And so again, having that soil cover, having that living plant root in the ground to anchor that down is very important.
We're blending it and running. We have the 2 tanks chained together, and we're running just both tanks the same crop.
For me, switching from the case system and then coming into this was pretty easy. Eric's pretty good teaching me, but it was easy to just transition into this and figure it out. I was really impressed with how easy that was.
We want to be respectful of the environment. We want to be good stewards of the land, but we also feel that conservation often gave us the best opportunity to profit. And so, again, the idea that we try to really foster in our conservation programs now is, the win-win type situations where we can improve environmental outcomes while also improving producer profitability. If we can do those 2 things simultaneously, we really have a chance to reach the acres that we need to reach to have a true impact on these landscape level natural resource challenges. Certainly improving water quality, in each field is important, but we need to reach enough fields that those impacts can really be felt in our water bodies and can truly have an impact for the state of Kansas.
There's a producer over north of the Haven area that this year he went all rye. He didn't really use it as a cover crop. He cut it. He's noticed that like his pigweed, mare's tail, stuff like that, all that pressure has been suppressed a lot. So this deal there may be a whole nother avenue for this.
We're real happy with the project and working with the agricultural retailers here in Northeast Kansas to run the machines, to provide this service to their growers. We really feel like we'll see some good water quality benefits. At the same time, we think that the agricultural producers will be able to see some real benefits from the soil health principles and hopefully, economically and environmentally improve their operations.